Here we go with our yin practice for this evening. So we are going to start by lying on your back, bringing your arms down by your side. Now, if your back is feeling, any tension tonight, feel free to keep your feet flat on the floor with your knees bent. Otherwise, bring your feet to the outside corner of your mat. Let those feet roll away, let the toes roll away. We're just take a few minutes here to settle in, settle out. Tonight we've got lots of opening. I've got hip opening, heart opening, inner thigh opening, chest opening. We're going to open our chi. So once you're on your mat, maybe roll your shoulders a little bit, rock them side to side, and find another spot where you can actually, settle in as if you're on a nice warm beach. Arms can be down by your side with your palms up. And maybe notice that your fingers curl towards your palms. So let's open them up a little bit and just see if the back of your hand can kind of kiss the earth and then let it fall where it naturally is. Maybe do a little massage for the back of your head. Rocking side to side. Nice and slow. And let's settle in here. So for your next couple of breaths, I just want you to acknowledge your breath. Notice it. Is it shallow? Is it nice and long? Don't force it, just recognize it. And then on your next few breaths, can you make everything slow down a little bit? So take a nice big inhale all the way through your nose and fill up your lungs nice and slow. Hold it for a count of 1 or 2 at the top. Then exhale through your mouth, through your lips, like you're pushing it out of a straw. Inhale it up. Hold at the top. Exhale nice and slow. Do that a few more times. And on your next breath, just let your breathing return to its natural rhythm, but recognizing you want to stay focused on the inhales and the exhales through our practice tonight. Let's bring the left leg into our left knee into our chest and kind of give it a little hug. And then maybe move it out to the side a little bit, bringing that knee up towards the shoulder. And then bringing it back in, bring it back out. And then lifting the foot towards the ceiling, grab the top of your foot. And we're going to go into like a half happy baby, but we're just going to play with this baby for a second. So bring the knee in, maybe bring the knee back. Some small movements. Connect to that hip flexor. And then we'll let go and we'll drop that foot back down. Let's take the other leg up. So hug the knee into your chest. And then push the knee a little bit out, maybe towards your shoulder. And back in. And we lift the foot towards the ceiling. Reach up to grab the outside sole of your foot. Drive the knee down. And maybe just play with that happy baby again, that half happy baby. And Don't drop that foot down to the ground. We're going to bring both knees into your chest. Give them a little hug. Now roll your shoulders off the ground. Bring your forehead to your knees and your knees to your forehead. And you're in a little ball. Stay here for a second. Soften through those shoulders. Feel your belly expand against your thighs. Now bring the upper body back down. We'll bring both feet up towards the ceiling, but keep a big bend in your knees so you can take your hands right up and grab the back of or the outside soles of your feet. Now, if you don't have that range of motion or your femurs are super, super long, you can grab the back of your calves or you can grab right under your knees, more towards your thighs. Then we're going to bring the feet away from one another. And using our arms, bring those knees down into your armpits, down by your shoulders. Now you can rock for a minute or a couple breaths, side to side if it feels good. Maybe you want to move your legs a little long. Maybe you want to stretch one, stretch the other. But then we're going to settle in. So once we find that settle in, we want to find a little bit of tension in the arms. And you want to find that sweet spot that you can say, I can hold it here in this beautiful stillness, in this time that I give to myself and to my body for a couple of minutes. So don't go too deep, not too much tension, but enough to let the muscles soften and melt in our quads, into our thighs. Check in with your head and your neck, so we don't want our chin pointing straight up towards the sky. You want your neck and your cervical spine to be a nice straight line. Let everything get heavy. Soften your toes, soften your ankles. And then you may find that you can even soften your grip a little bit on your feet. When we start to hold the muscle, and we don't get that benefit of going deeper into our fascia, which is where we hold these poses in yin, we want to get to the connective tissue. Take a nice big swallow. Take a couple more breaths here. And slowly start to bring the feet back together, the knees back in line with your hips. Let go of your feet or your legs, but keep your feet up towards the ceiling. And then let's slowly drop the left leg down, knee bent. Slowly drop the right down, knee bent. Bring one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly, and breathe. Now for our next shape, we're going to need our block. So while we're at it, let's bring both blocks kind of close to our body. You'll only need one right now. Then we're going to go into a supported bridge. So feet are in line and knees in line with your hips, feet flat on the floor. You're going to press into your feet and then lift the glutes up to be able to bring the block down. Now, I'm not a proponent of the block being on the narrow side. So if you wanted to go a little higher into your bridge, just when we start to bring it on the vertical or the narrow side, it gets wobbly, so it can become dangerous, as opposed to using 2 blocks on the long side. Now you want to bring your block down by your sacrum, down to your pelvis area. You do not want the block on your lower lumbar spine, so you want the back unsupported. And so whatever feels good for you, feel what the connection is, 1 block, 2 blocks. Then bring your arms up and overhead, palms down. Now get soft here. We're usually in our bridge, right? We're holding it up. I'm telling you to squeeze your glutes, squeeze your thighs. I'm telling you to let go of your glutes. Let go of your thighs. Let everything get heavy. Even if the legs start to drift slightly apart, you can walk them in a little bit and still let them soften. So a nice supported bridge. And just continue to sink and melt with your breath. So we're really extending our spine here. Right? So again, sink in. Don't use your muscles. Muscles get a vacation during yin. Get heavy, get heavier, and get heavier. Now if you want to try just a shift, you can take your legs long, bringing the heels towards the outside. Just see what that feels like for your body. Big opener for the pelvis area, the hip area. Lower back's getting lots of love. If your mind starts to travel a little bit, that's okay. Just bring it back in. Maybe acknowledging, how lucky we are, how fortunate we are to be able to take this time in each of these poses and not rush through them. Or bring your awareness back to your inhale and back to your exhale. Can you get heavier? Let everything go. We hold lots of tension in our legs, in our hips, in our jaw. Now, as I was saying, it's a big step, big pose for our lower back, our lumbar spine. So we want to come out of it nice and slow, nice and gingerly. So bring one foot in, then bring the other. Press up just a little bit, nothing too crazy, nice and soft, just enough to bring your blocks out. And then ever so slowly, starting at the top of your back, start to bring yourself back down. Bring your arms alongside with your palms down. And let's just let that rebound a little bit for us. Maybe you're feeling a little bit of pulsation in the back, in the lower back. Knowing that we've had that opportunity to open up and create lots of space. on your next inhale, bring your knees into your chest. Give yourself a little hug. And then drop the feet back down. We're going to go into a supported waterfall. So, which is in yin, we call it waterfall. In yoga, we call it legs up the wall. So you're going to take one block and you're going to bring it back right underneath your glutes. And walk both knees up. So your knees are at 90 degrees. Hang out right here. And then take your left leg up. Take your right leg up. Now, if you have a wall super close to you, you can scoot over and have the legs supported. Arms going to come into a T position with the palms down. Opening up that chest, you might want to pick up the shoulder blades just to create a little bit of space before you settle right down. And relish in that. I've talked, before about legs up the wall, reducing blood pressure and anxiety and stuff. And so I delved a little deeper. And so legs up the wall supports our lymphatic system. And it also gives our immune system a little boost. So that's great. It also helps activate our parasympathetic nerve. So our rest and digest system gets a little bit of love through this. It's also been said that it will relieve muscle and joint pain. And of course, any tension in the ankles and the feet. We're letting all the blood come back down into the body. Your legs may wiggle and wobble a tiny little bit. They'll start to settle. The less we focus on it, the better. Check in with your mouth. Are you holding tension in your jaw? Maybe you move your jaw side to side. Maybe run your tongue across your teeth. Pull the tongue away from the palate. Let the lips be open a little bit. Again, get heavy. Let your chest get heavy. Your belly get heavy. And then we'll slowly start to bend the right leg. Bring that foot down the ground with the knee bent. And let's let the left leg find the ground. Press up just a little bit to remove the block. Come on back down. Let's just bring our hands onto our belly on top of one another. Try a nice few breaths here. And now we're going to bring the soles of the feet together and let the knees fall away from one another. Grabbing your blocks, we're going into just a short, we're going to be here too long, into a reclined butterfly. But if you can bring your blocks to either scoot them underneath your thighs, underneath your calves, or your thighs, your calves, and your knees. Now your feet are touching, but we want to let the feet be able to fall away. Bring your arms to cactus arms so the back of the hand kisses the ground. Let the belly get heavy. Close your eyes. The feet don't have to touch. We don't want muscles doing the work here. Right? So if they fall away, let them fall. If your diamond shape gets a little bigger, that's okay as well. Let those hips open. And let's bring our arms down by our outer thighs and use our fingertips just to guide the legs up, just for a little bit, just so you can rock yourself up and come into. So if you have a blanket or you have your mat, we're going to go into a seated butterfly now. You can roll your mat up a little bit at the back of the mat, just to raise your hips up a little bit. Or you can bring your blanket and you just want to elevate the hips a tiny bit. So whether it's the blanket, whether it's the mat, or either blocks are going to come by your sides. So we're going to use those. So again, the feet are going to be, soles of the feet together, let the knees fall away. Then I want you to roll your shoulders up and down and be really, really nice and tall. We're going to hinge at the hips. So the hips are going to do the hinge, not the head, the neck, or the chest. You're going to reach, hinge forward, and you can bring your blocks. Now you have a few options with your blocks. You can bring them right under the knees and let the knees or the thighs, let the world come a little closer. Now bringing your hands, we're going to bring them underneath our calves, underneath our legs, with the palms up. Chest is going to come forward. You can stay right there, or if you don't want the support of your block, or you have 4 blocks in your house, you can bring 1 block into the center. So the hands came past my belly, underneath my legs, and then back up towards my feet. And then we can drop the forehead in. When you let the forehead drop, really try to let go of those, the inner thighs, the knees, the hips. Let everything soften there. Get nice and heavy. So we want to try not to use the muscle. Just let gravity take over. Stay with your breath. Check in. Are you holding tension anywhere? There's someone somewhere in your body, maybe those upper shoulders. Maybe it's still the hips. Maybe it's the glutes or the chest. Now if your head is down onto a block, we're going to slowly lift it. Bring our hands up from underneath. slowly move the blocks out the side, not too far. Use your hand to guide those knees up. Walk the legs nice and long. Bring your hands behind, arms behind your body, fingertips pointing towards your glutes. Lean back. And just again, let those feet fall away. These transitions, these rebounds are super, super important for our muscles and our fascia and our body to transition from one to the other. All right, we're going to walk ourselves back up. Now I kind of came off my sit bones, so I want you to bring yourself back up onto your sit bones. And you can either take both legs at the same time, or I like to use one hand, guide one leg over, and guide the opposite leg over. So we're going to go into a dragonfly pose. So dragonfly. Once again, bring the blocks to the center of your body, of your mat. And I want you to think about that hip hinge. So you're going to hinge forward and then reach the blocks and slide them there. So remember, we're doing yin yoga. We're not cheerleaders. We're not going for, real wide splits here. And I want you to soften the toes, soften your ankle, hinge at the hip. Now, a couple of options. We can work our way to it. Bring the elbows onto your block, and you can cradle your face right into those hands. If you want, while you're here, just before you settle, maybe give yourself a little temple massage. A couple little circles there. Coffee one way. Coffee the other. And then let's settle. You can cup your hands right over your face, right over your eyes, and sink. And let gravity pull you forward. Now, if your hamstrings, before you get really deep, if your hamstrings are super, super, super tight, you can also bring your blocks right underneath your knees to give them support, and you might get a little bit further down. Your hands might just come down to the ground, but watch that you're not putting too much emphasis on your back then. So dragonfly supports our liver and our kidney meridians. So nice, both liver and kidney are cleansing for our body. They do their job, so we're giving back to them. Stay in tune, stay in mindfulness of your breathing. And maybe for the next minute, can you bring the blocks away and just hinge a little bit further out? Again, that hinge is coming from the hips. Stretch to those outer thighs. Sorry, inner thighs, growing. Couple more breaths. And then wherever you are, just slowly to bring your head and your hands at the same time, slowly back up. And then using one hand, guide your leg over. Try not to torque it. Using your other hand, guide your leg. Let's bring our hands back behind us, fingertips pointing towards our glutes. And let's just soften. If it feels good for your head and neck, feel free free to take your gaze up towards the ceiling. Drop your neck into your shoulders. Wonderful. We'll come back up out of that. We'll wiggle off our blanket or our mat and we'll roll it back out. And slowly, with your knees bent, you're going to roll yourself all the way back down to the ground. Point your toes, bring your hands up overhead. Give yourself just a giant, giant, giant stretch. And then soften. And slowly, we're just going to bend one foot. You're going to pick up your hips and bring your hips over to the right side. Just a little bit, just a couple of inches over the right side. And then walk your legs all the way over to the left side. So those of you that have yogied before, we're going to go into Banasana, banana shape. So you're going to be a nice right banana. If it feels good, take that right ankle over the left or left over right. There's no rule, whatever feels good. However, I want you to keep your buttocks engaged to the ground. Once our lower body is there, let's walk our hands, arms over to the side. Now again, we want to keep the shoulder up, but if you want to go a little deeper, feel free to use a block to support the opposite shoulder as you go up and over. But you don't want the block digging into you. Have a nice stretch for the side body. Hands could be hugging each other. Now, if that's a little too intense for your shoulders with the arms up and over, feel free to bring your elbows, bend your elbows, and grab onto your arms on each side. But again, we want those shoulders connected to the ground, connected to the earth. And breathe. Feel your belly rise. Feel your belly sink. We're going to slowly unpeel our banana. Peel our banana, so bring that upper arms first and your body back to central. And then uncross the legs. Realign your spine. Bring your arms along down inside your body. And feel your breath. And we can bend one knee and use that foot to push the glutes up and over just a little bit to the left. Walk the feet. I like to heel walk over to one side. If it feels good, cross. Get those glutes connected to the ground. Bring the arms up and over. So even if you had your arms bent on this one, maybe try it the other way. One side might feel better or not better, feel different than the other. So then slowly arch yourself into your banana shape. Keep those shoulders nice and anchored. Glutes nice and anchored. Sink in. And breathe. continue to get heavy. Take a couple more breaths before we unwind or unpeel out of that. This time we're going to bend both feet, bend both knees, realign your spine. Now, a couple of options for our final Shavasana tonight. You can go into regular Shavasana, corpse pose, where your arms are down by your side, your legs nice and long. Or you might want to try supported fish. So, because we're doing all these openings. So in supported fish, you're going to make the letter T out of your blocks with the top of the letter T nice and long, flat. And then we're going to roll back onto it so that the long part of the T is at about maybe your bra strap, your shoulders, and the top of your head is going to come onto the T side. Arms can come out into a T. Your feet can come nice and long. Your legs can still come nice and long, or they can be bent, whatever's up to you. But for the next 3 minutes, let's enjoy some nice quiet stillness. Stay connected to your breath. Stay connected to a mantra. I am strong. I am present. I am here. And slowly start to make some movements with your fingers and your toes. And bring your knees up, feet down on the ground, and roll over the side. Be careful you're not going to fall over your blocks. Use your biceps as a little pillow. Knees into your chest. And use that upper hand to slowly bring yourself up to sitting, whichever way is comfortable for you. Let's take a nice big inhale, bring your arms up towards the sky. Join your fingers, join your palms, and join your thumbs. Take a nice big exhale, bring your hands to your heart center. Take a breath here to give thanks to yourself for taking care of your body. Take a breath to give yourself some gratitude. And on our last breath, I wish you all the best for a great, great weekend. Namaste. And that is our Yin program for May the 1st.